DNR right here on ESPN New York. Jake Asman in for Dave and Rick today, tomorrow, and through next Thursday. Thanks for spending the day after Christmas with us here on the station. Big Knicks win yesterday on Knicksmas, and for more on the Knicks and the state of the team, we bring on a friend of mine and someone that the Knicks fan base knows well. He is the founder of Knicks Fan TV, the largest YouTube channel that follows the Knicks, and you can hear this guy on Sirius XM NBA Radio. CP of the Fanchise joins us right now. CP, good morning, my friend. Happy holidays and Merry Knicksmas to you.
Jake, good morning. Happy holidays. Merry Knicksmas as well, man. Hope you're doing well.
So give me your takeaways from that game yesterday. I was lucky enough to be in the building, and it felt like Victor Wembanyama was going to ruin Christmas for Knicks fans, and Mikal Bridges obviously had some other ideas.
Yeah, no question about it, man. You know, watching Victor Wembanyama operate, I just got deja vu of some of the great MSG performances by a Knick opponent, but you know, we had to keep in mind that Mikal Bridges did start that game off shooting 7 for 7 from the field. So he was red hot and almost overshadowed. But when it came down to it, with both Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns kind of struggling to stay consistent in this game, it was only right that this game had to go through Mikal Bridges for the Knicks to win it. And he was absolutely sensational, man. I mean, 17 of 25 from the field, 6 of 9 from downtown. This is the guy who you traded 5 picks for, and quite frankly, Jake, this is the guy that the Knicks need to have legitimate championship aspirations.
What have you seen from Bridges of late, CP? He gets off to the slow start, but really in the month of December, he's been one of the better players in the league in plus-minus. I think he might be number 1. It seems like he's comfortable in his role. Did you notice anything that changed with his game that's allowed him to play this well?
Yeah, as you said, in the month of December, man, 22.7 points per game, shooting 57% from the field, 46 from 3, and a true shooting percentage of 69. I mean, unbelievable. But I think, Jake, it really starts with his energy, man. I mean, the guy has been relentless on both ends of the floor, and I've got to start with his defense. His defensive intensity has truly picked it up a notch. The way that he's navigating through screens, his help defense, I think that helps energize him on the offensive end. And then offensively, the Knicks, number one, do a good job of finding him in the corners. He's been electric from the corner 3. His cutting is also noticeable. So you have guys like Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Karl-Anthony Towns. They're always finding and cutting Mikal Bridges, who's dashing down to the rim and getting easy points there. So he's just in a great rhythm right now. And, hey, whatever he did to tweak his jump shot mechanics, you know, that was a big deal that we made in the beginning of the season. It's clearly working out for him because right now he can't miss.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, CP. He's been awesome. And I think for the Knicks going forward, you look at this lineup, as long as they stay healthy, I don't think it's crazy to say that, you know, the Knicks starting 5 on any given night, they got a legitimate chance to have a player in that starting lineup lead them in scoring. Like that's how special this group could be when they're clicking offensively.
Oh, no question about it. And when I did my game preview for this game a few days ago, I talked about that in my prediction. I said at this point, at this stage in the game, where the Knicks are on this they were coming into this game on a 4-game winning streak. I said, this team is just way too deep. And they're going to flash that depth out here where you don't necessarily need a all-star quality game from a Jalen Brunson every night or from a Karl-Anthony Towns every night because you have the luxury of having Mikal Bridges out there. If you're watching what Josh Hart does out there, whether it's scoring, playmaking, rebounding, he's making winning plays for this team. And then off the bench, you know, you have solid contributions. One night might be Deuce McBride, might be Campaign. We forgot about OG Anunoby, who had himself an outstanding night yesterday as well. You know, you can get it from a multitude of ways, and this is why this Knicks team is so dangerous.
CP of the Fanchise is with us here, founder of Knicks Fan TV. If you're a Knicks fan not subscribed to them, I'd be surprised. They got over 86,000 YouTube subscribers. You can hear CP as well on Sirius XM NBA Radio. Let me ask you about Josh Hart specifically, right? Because yesterday is like the perfect game for why Josh Hart is so beloved, right? Knicks have the ball with 40-plus seconds to go. They're up 3, and they're able to run out the clock and not even give the Spurs a chance to tie the game and send it to OT. Because Hart gets back-to-back offensive rebounds on Knick misses. His value to the Knicks team, just your thoughts on what he means and what he brings to that Knicks team going forward.
I call him my X Factor. I call him Mr. Everything on this team because he does the things, Jake, that you just can't teach. I mean, 5 of the Knicks' 17 offensive rebounds came from the hands of Josh Hart. 12 rebounds overall, 6 assists in this game to go along with 12 points and 4 of 8 shooting from the field. You know, there's been a little bit of a debate this season in terms of the Knicks' lack of size in that starting unit, and whether or not Josh Hart should go to the bench. Should they put in a Precious Achiuwa? Should they go with Mitchell Robinson when he comes back? And I've always pushed back against this because Josh Hart just does so much for this offense that he can't come out of this lineup. I look at him as the secondary playmaker, as a secondary point guard. He allows Jalen Brunson to play off ball sometimes. As I mentioned, his chemistry with Mikal Bridges in finding him in the corners, his ability to grab a rebound and push in transition, push ahead, allowing the Knicks to play fast. And then his overall just defense, his toughness, and his grit, man. He is New York Knick personified, and this is what Josh Hart has meant to this team since he's been here. He's never taken his foot off the gas, and he's been everything for this team.
CP the Fanchise with us here. Jake Asman on DNR in for the guys. Talking about the Knicks, 117-114 win over Victor Wanyama and the Spurs on Knicksmas yesterday at MSG. I don't know if you caught the comments that Wanyama made after the game, but we've talked about them this morning on the show. He said, quote, "They didn't win against us because they played better basketball, not at all." And I heard those comments, and I kind of just laughed. What were your thoughts on a little salty Wemby after the game?
Yeah, well, Victor needs to watch the replay because that's not what I saw. That's not what you saw, and that's not what the national audience saw. Because Victor shouldn't be one to talk because once Karl Anthony Towns comes out of the game in the fourth, which is with his 5th foul, with about 6 minutes left to go in the game, Victor Wembanyama did not score. And that was good defense by both OG Anunoby and Precious Achiuwa. And then you had a closing lineup who closed most of the fourth quarter of Deuce McBride, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart. It was Precious Achiuwa and OG Anunoby. They went on a torrid run to close this game out. You had several big plays from Josh Hart, from Bridges. OG Anunoby shooting from 3. Miles McBride shooting a big shot. I mean, those guys really closed the game out for the Knicks, and they outplayed the Spurs in crunch time. It's just that simple.
When you look at this Knicks team now, CP, they've won 15 of their last 19 with Boston losing surprisingly yesterday to Philadelphia. Knicks are now just 2 games in back of Boston for the 2nd seed in the East. Are the Knicks where you figured they would be at this point? Are they ahead of schedule? Are they right on schedule? How do you view the first 30 games for this Knicks team now that they're 20-10?
Yeah, they're right where they need to be. I mean, after a tough schedule, let's look at it. They had a tough schedule to begin this season. I think they have reached kind of a cruising altitude where you're seeing the chemistry develop here, especially on the defensive end. That's going to be where it's most important for this team. Their defensive rating is improving. Guys are coming back healthy one by one from Precious Achiuwa. Campaign is coming back now. We await the arrival of Mitchell Robinson. And in the meantime, they have a digestible schedule here where, look, the next game tomorrow night in Orlando, not easy, but a game that they should win and put away the Magic in the season series. Then you have back-to-back games against the Washington Wizards. Then you have a game against the Utah Jazz where you should exact revenge there at home on New Year's Day. So they have an ability here to rip off another 4 straight. Hey, maybe catch the Celtics and, hey, get into a groove here where they're getting comfortable into a rhythm and start beating some of these upper echelon teams in the league. That's the next step in this Knicks progression of the season. Start beating some of these upper echelon teams in the East and the West to really establish yourselves in the league. But right now at 20-10, they're in a great spot.
How do you view the Eastern Conference, right? You have Boston. They're the defending champs. They should be the favorites until someone knocks them off. I know Cleveland's been great, but I just have a tough time picturing the Cavs staying at the level that they're at, playing at this level going forward. I respect them, but I still look at the Knicks and feel like they are the second-best team in the Eastern Conference. Your thoughts on that?
I don't think the Cavs put fear in anybody, even the Knicks. Look, they've been a good regular season team since the arrival of Donovan Mitchell. They're a good team. Let's just be honest. They have a good core with Mitchell and Garland. They put a lot of pressure on you. And then you have the front court tandem of Evan Mobley, who's taken his game up a notch, as well as Jared Allen. But they're still in a prove-it state. They still have to prove that they can get it done in a 7-game series and also get there healthy. I mean, 26-4 looks good right now, but anything can change between now and the end of the season. And so, Cleveland is up there. They deserve their respect. The champions, Boston Celtics, absolutely deserve their respect. And the Knicks really have to show and prove that they can beat them. That, to me, is the bar. But you also have some other good teams here. The Milwaukee Bucks at 16-12. They have been vastly improved after a slow start. And then, that's pretty much my tier in the East. It's Cleveland, it's the Celtics, it's the Knicks, and the Bucks. And then I kind of look at the rest of the pack. The Orlando Magic, they have to get Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero back healthy, but give credit to them because they've been able to tread water here at 19-12, sitting in the 4th spot. You have the Miami Heat. They will likely trade Jimmy Butler by the trade deadline. So what will they look like come the second half of the season? The Hawks have had a respectable run, and, the Pacers are kind of the Pacers right now. So the East is very top-heavy. You have a lot of competition there at the top, but there's no question. I think once the Knicks take on the Boston Celtics, that will be the litmus test to see where they truly are.
I know you're not just a Knicks guy, CP. You're a huge basketball junkie. You love the league. I know the NBA is not going to get the NFL numbers of viewership yesterday, but I thought yesterday's games, all 5 of them were really good, competitive, especially the last game, or I guess the second to last game of the night, LeBron and Steph. What were your thoughts on the entire Christmas Day slate?
I think, well, first of all, I think congratulations to the league, congratulations to ESPN, because I thought you had 5 very competitive games, starting with the Knicks and the Spurs really setting a tone. And, in this league where we're kind of looking for who's going to take the torch once LeBron and Steph Curry and Kevin Durant finally leave this league, and Victor Wembanyama put on quite a show with the battle with Mikal Bridges. In the Minnesota-Dallas game, you had Minnesota with a healthy lead and Dallas coming roaring back, and so that provided for an entertaining 4th quarter. Philadelphia upsetting Boston despite all of their issues. And then, how about the chef, Stephen Curry, putting fear in the Lakers, doing what he does, and just hitting clutch threes in that 4th quarter to send this thing into overtime. You had the LeBron and Steph Curry battle, and then KD getting the best of Jokic and the Nuggets. I thought you had 5 fantastic games yesterday on Christmas, and I think it was well-deserved just based on the overall conversation of where the league is heading with the ratings.
Final Knicks question for me, CP. So I think it's going to be tough for this to happen, but I think it should happen. I think the Knicks should have 3 All-Stars this year. I think Brunson should be an All-Star, Cat should be an All-Star, and I think OG should be in the All-Star game as well. Do you think that the Knicks would have a legit chance of potentially getting 3 guys into the All-Star game?
They could. It's typically it's tough. Typically, the team that you see that gets the 3 is typically like the top team in the conference. Whether it's like a Boston, does Cleveland get 3 guys in there? Maybe OG cracks in there as an injury replacement, but I think it might be a little bit difficult. Right now, you're looking at Karl-Anthony Towns. I would have to put him in as the starting center for the Eastern Conference. Jalen Brunson should no question get in there. So, hey, you know what? We've come a long way when it comes to Knicks being All-Stars. Many moons ago, we'd have 0, and now it seems like every year from Julius Randle era, they've been in there. So, look, I think that's a testament to where this team is going. It's a credit to Tom Thibodeau and the coaching staff. And, hey, to even have 3 guys considered just means that this Knicks team is heading in the right direction.
No doubt. I just feel like OG is one of those players that if you don't watch him game in, game out, you don't appreciate the value he brings to a team. And I just feel like he should be recognized for that because the Knicks are not the same team without OG Anunoby. And the record since they've acquired him has been unbelievable if you go back and look.
There's no question that the All-Star game should recognize defense, man. Because OG Anunoby, even on nights when the shot's not falling, he's still impacting and winning games defensively, and that needs recognition. I totally agree with you. His record with the Knicks right now, Jake, is 40-13.
Wow, you have it handy. Nice job, CP.
Oh yeah, we do research, man. It's 8:45 in the morning. I'm ready to go. I'm on with Jake Ashman. Yeah, 40-13 is his record with the Knicks right now, and so I call him the dog, man. D-O-G. I call him the dog. He had a great game against the Toronto Raptors this week. And, hey, helped shut Wemby down in the 4th quarter of Knicksmas Day, man. So, great job by OG Anunoby.
CP, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Appreciate you hopping on this morning, and Merry Knicksmas to you and everyone out there over at Knicks Fan TV.
Anytime, Jake. Shout out to you guys, man. Keep up the good work, and I'll be happy to come on anytime, man.
CP of the Fanchise, who's great. If you don't follow him across social media and you're a Knicks fan, you're missing out. You also could hear him on SiriusXM's NBA Radio. 800-919-3776. Knicks fans, how we feeling? Call in, give us your thoughts on the Knicks win. I think the Knicks are every bit as good as any team in the Eastern Conference besides Boston. And I think Boston's better, but I think in the right matchup, the right circumstance, I think the Knicks can compete with them. I do. I have felt that way for a while, and what we saw yesterday from Mikal Bridges having his welcome to the Knicks kind of moment on Christmas Day in primetime with everyone watching in the NBA, that makes you feel good about this team going forward. You got to stay healthy. We saw how quickly things changed last year with injuries, but how do you not feel good right now if you're a Knicks fan? 800-919-3776. Lots still to talk about. We'll